The Middle Ages and Renaissance were vastly volatile periods in history that saw both peaks and valleys, meaning that it was not uncommon to see disgruntled or frustrated citizens, and even, on a select few occasions, citizens that rebelled against the hierarchical system, which they did in this case by throwing people out of windows. The Defenestrations of Prague were a bizarre set of actions that occurred between the 15th and 17th centuries, and were actions that took course due largely to deeply rooted political and religious discourse. The defenestrations occurred on three primary occasions, each of which produced vastly larger consequences than may have been anticipated. The first defenestration occurred on the 30th of July, 1419, at the New Town Hall in Prague, when roughly 30 Czech Hussites, led by Jan Zaleski, marched on the hall for their refusal to exchange Hussite prisoners. However, during the march, it is said that one of the council members threw a stone at Zaleski, which in turn enraged the Hussites and caused a mob to both form and storm the building. And in an act of protest, the Hussites threw several of the town hall members from the town hall's windows, which included not only the judge and a city executive, but several others as well, none of whom died from the fall, but all were killed at the bottom. Subsequently, the actions fast-tracked the already brewing discourse between the Hussites and Christians, and ultimately led to the beginning of the Hussite Wars, which began in 1419, only 1 year after the events took place. The following defenestration occurred on the 24th of September 1483, when the Hussites organized and acted out several coups across both the new and old towns of Prague, as well as the lesser town. These defenestrations were similar to the first, seeing several town hall council members thrown from their respective town hall windows, such as from this very window. The violent actions resulted in some religious and political change, but did not lead to any major upfront conflicts in contrast to the others. Guess throwing people out of windows really does get the point across. However, it was not until the final defenestration that the influence of such actions would truly be demonstrated. The final defenestration occurred on the 23rd of May, 1618, when 4 Catholic regents and their secretary met with delegates from numerous dissolved Protestant estates to discuss the Catholics' violation of the Letter of Majesty, as they were believed to have prevented the building of Protestant churches on royal land. Ultimately, the Protestants found 2 of the regents innocent, however found the other 2 guilty, and the regents, believing that the punishments would be rather mild, accepted any that the Protestants believed fit. However, what they likely were not expecting was for that punishment to be defenestration. Following the verdict, the Protestant party threw the 2 remaining regents and their secretary out of a 70-foot window. Surprisingly, however, none of the 3 died from the fall. But regardless, the defenestrations held a much larger impact on the following history than may have been anticipated. The immediate succession of the event marked the beginning of the Bohemian Revolt, and likewise acted as a catalyst to the beginning of the 30-Year War, one of the longest and most influential in European history. So yeah, I guess throwing people out of windows certainly gets the point across. Ideally, like this video will. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed, consider liking and subscribing for future videos.